Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. WWE has opened its own forbidden door in a major way this past year. While Vince McMahon was not big on working with other wrestling promotions, for the most part, things have been different in the Triple H era. However, now an interesting stance on these relationships has seemingly been revealed from backstage. McMahon had a few partnerships over the years, with companies such as ECW, NWA, and Progress. There were also several talent exchanges with USWA, NJPW, and AAA, among others. The former president later partnered with promotions to operate as WWE Developmental Territories, OVW, DSW, HWA, IWA, and MCW. In the ongoing new era, WWE has worked with TNA, AJPW, GCW, Pro Wrestling Noah, and Dreamstar Fighting Marigold. World Wrestling Entertainment does not consider these working alliances as partnerships, according to Fightful Select. The official word is that WWE has talent exchanges with other wrestling promotions, but it wasn't clear why the term partnership was a no-go. National Wrestling Alliance announced 11 months ago that NWA Power would air weekly on the CW app after their one-year deal with Fight expired. Season 16 of the show premiered on February 6th, and the app is currently the only way to watch the promotion's one-hour flagship show. There's no word yet on whether Power will be brought to the main network in the future, or if CW will entirely drop the show due to WWE. The aforementioned report came after a fan asked about a potential NXT-NWA partnership now that both promotions were on the CW network. Vince McMahon Sr. originally left the National Wrestling Alliance in 1963, but rejoined in 1971 and was affiliated with them until Vince Jr. bought WWE, FKA WWF, in 1982. The legendary promotions worked together again in 1998 for the NWA Invasion angle. It was noted by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp that WWE linking back up with the longest-running wrestling promotion would come as a big surprise. Many NWA talents are essentially free agents, but some do have deals that limit bookings. However, Billy Corgan's organization is known to be fair about letting wrestlers out of their contracts or letting them expire if there's nothing for that talent. It was speculated that the recently released Missa Kate and Joe Alonzo would be strong fits for NXT. WWE NXT CW Premier Updated Lineup. World Wrestling Entertainment's NXT brand will begin its CW network era this coming week. Tuesday's live episode will take place at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Officials currently have 4 matches and 2 segments confirmed for Tuesday. Below is the current lineup. The Miz hosts Miz TV with a contract signing for Tony D'Angelo versus North American champion Oba Femi for Week 2. Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will appear. Lola Vice and Jada Parker versus 2 members of Fatal Influence, Chicago Street Fight, Wes Lee versus Zachary Wentz. NXT Women's Championship match, Roxanne Perez, C, versus Julia. NXT Championship match, Ethan Page, C, versus Trick Williams, special guest referee, CM Punk. Week 2 of NXT on CW will also air outside of the Performance Center in Orlando. The episode will take place at the Factory at the District in Chesterfield, Missouri. In the ever-evolving landscape of WWE, the post-Vince McMahon era has been marked by notable shifts in creative direction, storytelling dynamics, and even backstage politics. Triple H, now firmly seated in the company's creative control, has been implementing changes that better align with his vision for WWE's future. One such development, according to insider reports, revolves around the company's policy on partnerships. These alliances, between superstars, factions, and even corporate deals, seem to be facing a shakeup, signaling a departure from traditional WWE practices. The need for change. When Triple H officially took over as WWE's chief content officer, many fans were curious to see how the game would leave his mark on the product. Gone were the days of abrupt storyline shifts, cartoonish characters, and bloated scripts. Now, WWE promised a more cohesive, sports-like presentation. Part of that evolution included revisiting how partnerships are managed both on-screen and behind the scenes. Partnerships have long played a significant role in WWE, with tag teams, stables, and even corporate sponsorships shaping the product's face. From the legendary alliances of the Rock and Sock Connection to the recent dominance of the Bloodline, these relationships provide critical storytelling fuel. However, under Triple H's leadership, reports indicate a new direction that involves not only how partnerships are formed, but also how they're sustained. Long-term storytelling focused. The first major shift, according to backstage sources, revolves around long-term planning. Triple H, who has long been an advocate for extended narratives, reportedly believes that WWE's partnership stories should reflect that commitment. In the past, many tag teams or alliances were formed on a whim, only to be dissolved without a satisfying conclusion. Under Triple H, such stories are expected to develop over months, or even years, in order to give both superstars and fans time to become truly invested. A prime example of this philosophy can be seen with the Judgment Day. Originally formed under Edge's leadership, the group initially faced lukewarm reactions. However, under Triple H's guidance, the faction has grown to include Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio, all of whom have found individual success while still benefiting from the group dynamic. This kind of evolution, insiders say, is precisely the approach Triple H wants to implement across the board. More organic formations. Another critical aspect of Triple H's rumored policy shift is a move towards more organic partnerships. Rather than forcing alliances for the sake of convenience or immediate ratings, the new WWE philosophy is to allow partnerships to form naturally, either through storyline progression or mutual respect between superstars. This approach harkens back to Triple H's days in NXT, where factions like the Undisputed Era or DIY felt organic and authentic, making their eventual successes and betrayals more impactful. Sources backstage say that Triple H wants WWE to move away from the more commercialized pairings of the past, where superstars were put together simply because their characters shared a similar gimmick or because management wanted to push a certain narrative. Instead, Triple H's team is reportedly working with talents to help them find storylines and partners that feel genuine to their in-ring personas and character arcs. This approach is a stark contrast to the Vince McMahon era, where teams like the makeshift pairing of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton, RK-Bro, were thrown together with little long-term planning. While some of these teams enjoyed success, the new directive under Triple H is focused on making sure any partnerships that form have the potential for a lasting legacy within the company. Strengthening the tag division. One area that's set to benefit most from these changes is the WWE Tag Team division. Historically overlooked, WWE's tag team scene has fluctuated between moments of brilliance and long stretches of mediocrity. With Triple H's emphasis on long-term partnerships, the division is expected to see more consistent, meaningful storylines. Rather than creating temporary teams just to fill match cards, Triple H's goal is to establish legitimate duos that can elevate the division as a whole. There are already rumors that several top superstars, who have previously been part of singles feuds, are being considered for long-term tag partnerships. Superstars like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, for example, have been mentioned as potential candidates for these new alliances. Both are seasoned veterans who could bring prestige back to the tag division, especially under a storyline that builds organically over time. Additionally, the focus on strengthening partnerships could extend beyond just men's tag teams. WWE's women's division, which has seen a rise in popularity and talent depth, could also see more dynamic pairings. While teams like Sasha Banks and Bayley, or the Kabuki Warriors, have been successful in the past, WWE's women's tag division has often felt like an afterthought. Triple H's focus on long-term partnerships could rejuvenate this aspect of WWE's programming, giving female superstars more time and narrative depth to create memorable tag teams. Partnerships beyond the ring. Another element of WWE's partnership evolution includes alliances outside the squared circle. Under Triple H, there's an emphasis on forming more strategic business partnerships that better align with WWE's evolving brand identity. Gone are the days of quick, superficial sponsorship deals. WWE is reportedly pursuing more meaningful, long-lasting corporate partnerships that fit the tone and presentation of its product. For instance, there have been talks of collaborating with major streaming platforms and gaming companies to create content that merges WWE's in-ring action with popular media trends. This could mean cross-promotions with video game franchises, collaborations with top-tier streaming shows, and more appearances in pop culture media. Triple H is looking to strengthen WWE's ties to mainstream entertainment, but only through partnerships that enhance WWE's brand and storytelling rather than detract from it. Future prospects. While many of the changes in WWE's partnership policies are still in their early stages, the reports paint a picture of a company that is fully embracing a new direction under Triple H. Fans and wrestlers alike seem excited about the prospect of more meaningful, well-developed alliances, whether inside or outside the ring. If Triple H's plans succeed, we could be looking at a new golden era for WWE, one where tag teams, factions, and partnerships are treated with the care and respect they deserve. WWE has always thrived on the relationships between its superstars, and with the right strategy, these partnerships could once again become the driving force behind the company's biggest storylines.